Imagine this. Right now, as you watch this video in 2026, there's a massive hidden tax surprise lurking in most people's retirement savings that could wipe out tens of thousands of dollars without warning. And the crazy part is, the majority of seniors still have no clue the rules just changed dramatically. If you're sitting on a traditional IRA or 401k, you could be walking straight into a huge unnecessary tax hit unless you act fast. Stick around because today I'm breaking down everything you need to know about required minimum distributions, the shocking updates that are catching people off guard, and the smart moves you can make right now to protect your hard-earned money. If this sounds like it could save you a fortune, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss these game-changing retirement tips. And drop a comment below telling me your birth year so I can shout out whether your RMD age is 73 or 75. Let's get the conversation started. All right, let's dive straight in. Picture this. For years, you've been building wealth inside tax-deferred accounts like a traditional IRA or your old 401k, enjoying the incredible benefit of letting every dollar compound without the IRS taking a cut along the way. That growth has been powerful, but here's the reality check. Uncle Sam isn't running a charity. Those accounts come with strings attached, and the main one is called the Required Minimum Distribution, or RMD. This isn't optional advice or a gentle reminder. It's a strict IRS mandate that forces you to start pulling money out of those accounts at a certain age. And when you do, that money gets taxed as regular income, just like a paycheck. Essentially, after letting your savings grow tax-free for decades, the government steps in to collect the deferred taxes they've been patiently waiting for, turning what feels like a free ride into a bill that comes due every single year. The timing of when these withdrawals begin has shifted multiple times over the years, which is exactly why so many folks are confused right now. Back in the day, everyone remembered the old rule of starting at age 70 and a half. Then it moved to 72, but thanks to the major Secure 2.0 legislation that went into effect recently, things have changed again in a big way. If you were born before 1960, your first RMD is required starting at age 73. But if your birth year is 1960 or later, congratulations, you've got extra breathing room because your mandatory withdrawals don't begin until you reach age 75. That 2-year difference might not sound huge, but it can mean thousands more in tax-free growth and far more flexibility in your planning. So the very first thing you should do is confirm your exact birth year against this new cutoff and lock in your personal start date. Knowing this one detail can completely reshape your retirement strategy. Now comes the part that keeps people up at night. What happens if you miss an RMD or take out less than you're supposed to? The IRS doesn't mess around here. The penalty for failing to withdraw the full required amount is a steep 25% of whatever you should have taken out but didn't. Yes, you read that correctly. 25% slapped right on top of any regular income taxes you owe. It used to be even harsher at 50% before recent reforms softened it slightly, but even at 25%, this is still one of the most punishing fines in the entire tax system for what often boils down to an honest oversight or simple miscalculation. To drive the point home, consider a realistic scenario. Suppose your traditional IRA has grown to around $1 million by the time your RMD age arrives. Using the official IRS life expectancy tables, your first year required withdrawal might land somewhere around $40,000 or more, depending on your exact age and account balance. Forget to take it or pull out too little, and you're not just facing income tax on the missed amount, you're also hit with an extra $10,000 penalty or so in that ballpark. That's real money gone forever.
All because of a deadline you overlooked amid life's distractions. But here's the empowering truth. That penalty is entirely preventable. You never have to pay it if you stay proactive and organized. So instead of letting fear take over, use it as fuel to build a solid defense for your nest egg. The real danger with RMDs isn't just the penalty. It's
Thank
the
you
way
for your
these forced
attention.
withdrawals
I will now
can
address the key
explode
points
your
of our
taxable
discussion
income
today.
in retirement. Many people assume their income will drop once they stop working, putting them in a lower tax bracket where Social Security might even stay partially tax-free. Then the RMDs start rolling in, adding tens or even hundreds of thousands of extra dollars to your annual income, suddenly pushing you into higher brackets, making more of your Social Security taxable, increasing your Medicare premiums through RMAA surcharges, and creating a cascade of unintended tax consequences that eat away at the retirement lifestyle you worked decades to achieve. That's the true ticking tax bomb everyone needs to defuse before it detonates. Fortunately, you have powerful tools to take control instead of letting the IRS dictate the terms. One of the most effective strategies is something called a Roth conversion, which works like this. Rather than waiting for the government to force distributions later at potentially higher tax rates, you deliberately withdraw portions of your traditional IRA now, pay the taxes at today's rates, which might be lower if you're in a quieter income year, and then roll that money straight into a Roth IRA. Once it's in the Roth, all future growth happens completely tax-free, qualified withdrawals come out tax-free, and best of all, Roth IRAs have no lifetime RMD requirement for the original owner during your lifetime. That means you can let the account keep compounding indefinitely if you want, passing on a tax-free inheritance to your heirs, effectively transforming a future tax liability into a permanent tax advantage. Another fantastic option, especially if you have a generous heart and support charitable causes, is the Qualified Charitable Distribution, known as a QCD. This lets you transfer up to $105,000 per year, potentially indexed higher in future years, directly from your IRA to a qualified charity without it ever counting as taxable income to you. The beauty is that the amount still fully satisfies your RMD obligation, so you check the IRS box while keeping your taxable income lower, avoiding bracket creep, protecting Social Security taxation, and supporting nonprofits you care about, all in one smooth move. It's genuinely one of the most elegant tax planning tools available for charitably minded retirees. To make this actionable, here's a clear 4-step roadmap you can start following today to put yourself in the driver's seat. First, create a full picture of your future retirement cash flow by listing every income source you expect: Social Security benefits, any pensions, rental properties, part-time work, annuity payments, everything. Second, get a realistic estimate of your future RMDs by using free online calculators or working with a financial advisor. Remember, if your account grows at even moderate rates over the next decade, those required amounts can balloon significantly from today's levels. Third, combine those projections to forecast your total annual income once RMDs begin, and honestly assess whether that pushes you into uncomfortable tax territory or triggers secondary effects like higher Medicare costs. Finally, based on that analysis, decide which strategies make the most sense for you. Perhaps launching a series of Roth conversions in lower income years before your RMD age hits, or planning QCDs if philanthropy is part of your life, or even a combination of both along with other moves like strategic timing of capital gains. The bottom line is simple yet profound. Required minimum distributions aren't some obscure footnote in your retirement plan. They're a central force that can either erode your savings through unnecessary taxes or become an opportunity to optimize everything if you prepare ahead of time. Ignoring them hands control over to the IRS, but facing them head-on lets you decide exactly when, how, and how much tax you pay, preserving more of your wealth for the retirement you've earned. So take a moment right now, pause this if you need to, and think seriously about whether your current setup is truly protected against these changes. If you're ready to dig deeper or want personalized ideas, drop your questions in the comments, share this video with anyone you know who's approaching or already in retirement, and make sure you're subscribed so you catch every new update on tax laws, Social Security strategies, and ways to keep more of what you've built. Thanks for watching. Your future self will thank you for paying attention today. Let's keep building that secure retirement together.